So French President Emmanuel Macron has come out to confirm that this is a radical Islamic terrorist attack and that it represents a larger issue still plaguing his country. However, this issue never really had to be if France had just secured its borders in 2015. What are your thoughts on this?
Right. Well, that's definitely one of the problems that France is now gripping with. They have not dealt with the question of borders, how to handle assimilating asylum seekers and refugees for some time, and now Macron is facing this large domestic problem. Now he has defined this as what he calls Islamic separatism. That is, French Muslims inside the state who do not accept French law or French norms. And he's starting to push back on that. And I think that's a strong positive, but he's going to see more incidents like this while he does that. We're seeing some positive things from the French authorities in this case. For example, the French Interior Minister indicated that they were going to go after several Islamic NGOs that may have played a part in focusing on this French teacher and his classroom. So that would be a very positive step if they were to move forward in that way.
Yeah, because now we're seeing that the French president, he's expelling over 100 or 200 people from these radical watch lists. Do you think that's the right move?
I think it is the right move. They need to, as I said, get control of some of these communities. They need to understand, to begin with, that radical Islam in France exists at a far deeper level than just what you see break the surface with these individual attacks. This is knife jihad attacks in France are nothing really new. Over the past several years, we've seen several of them. There was one this year outside the offices of Charlie Hebdo that was most likely related to the ongoing trial there of several alleged co-conspirators who took part in the massacre at the newspaper's offices. So they are having this debate in France right now. Macron has made major steps forward, and we'll see if they carry them out. We're going to see pushback from both the Islamic community in France, Islamist groups in France, as well as some of their allies on the French left. So it's by no means a done deal.
And speaking of this pushback, we see that there is about 11 people who've also been suspects who've been taken into custody in connection with this murder. One of them was a man whose daughter was in the classroom. He has a sister who has since fled to Syria a few years ago to join ISIS. Another one of these suspects is a community organizer in the area who rails against everyone being Islamophobic. Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't, unfortunately. The reality is that groups like the Muslim Brotherhood have long used nonprofit organizations and collectives like this organization, which is Collective Against Islamophobia, as they call it, in order to whip up hatred by Muslims against the French state and against other Western states, even though they live among them. So this sort of behavior is not necessarily uncommon. Now, it doesn't always result in violence. Sometimes it's merely a political pushback. But for groups like the Muslim Brotherhood, every time they're able to make one of these issues about them and able to make it about Islamic issues, they consider that a win for themselves.